This is Collins John, and you are listening to Fulham Focus Podcast.
Fulham.
Hello and welcome to the latest Q&A in the Fulham Focus series. My name's Daniel Smith, better known as Dannyboi, and I'm delighted to say joining me today to talk about his time playing for Fulham is our former Dutch striker, Collins John. Collins, it's a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, very good. Everything is well, so I'm happy you called me and, we can crack on and get some reminder back Fulham days.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. So we'll start off, before you joined Fulham, obviously you were born in Liberia, moved to Holland as a child. Was there any football teams that you supported as a kid, and did you have any role models in football?
Well, yeah, obviously, coming to Holland in those early 90s, Ajax was my first love, and obviously growing up with Patrick Kluivert and, Edgar Davids and Seedorf and, Rijkaard and Van Basten. So, my idol was personally Kluivert. Obviously, he was a striker, me growing up as a striker as well. So that was no-brainer to support, one of the biggest club in, at that time in Europe as well, because in 95, obviously they won the Champions League. So, Kluivert was my favourite.
And during your time at Fulham, I was a teenager, so it sticks out in my mind that everyone was associating you with Kluivert. So was you aware of that you had the reputation as being the future Kluivert?
No, I didn't. I never actually heard it even once. So, but I guess that's a good thing, and it's a privilege to obviously, to compare with such a great striker. So yeah, no, I never was aware of that.
Because you burst onto the scene, but we'll get onto your Fulham career in a second. I know you've got two brothers that are also professional footballers, Paddy and Ola. Just for a bit of banter, a bit of fun, who's had the best career of the three of you?
Well, I would say me, because even though Ola, the last one of the three of us, played at such a high club as Benfica, I think every boy's dream is to play in the Premier League. And personally, I've played in the Premier League, so I would say me.
and you're the only one that played for Fulham, so that gives it the edge.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a great club, and playing in the Premier League and played over 100 games in the Premier League. I still think that is a big achievement to actually play in one of the biggest clubs in Europe, Benfica. But I think everybody's dream, you can ask anybody, even in Portugal, if you ask them, where you want to play, everybody's going to say Premier League. So I would say probably me. But, to play for Benfica and play in the Champions League is obviously a big thing. So, I think I'm just better.
Well, how did you get your first opportunity then in football?
Well, it's kind of a long story, but growing up, obviously I always loved the ball and I always wanted to play football. But my mom was not really convinced me being a professional footballer, because she was just like, you have to make sure you're good at school and, what any mother say anyway. So make sure you learn and, get something, degree and all that. And I was just like, well, I remember one night I came home and I was like, Mom, well, one of my friends from school, he wants me to come and join his club. So I just joined him, loved it, and never looked back since. So, my mom obviously was hearing a lot of things about, your son is such a great footballer. I think he's got a bright career. And, and from that point, was kind of like very quick, everything, because I played like amateur for like 3 years and I went to 20, was there at the age of 11. Played there for 6 years in the youth team, and then at the 17th, I made the debut. I only played 18 months at the first team of 20, and then obviously Fulham bought me January 2004. So yeah, it was kind of a dream came true at that point. But yeah, to be honest, in the beginning, my mom was not really with it for me to be a professional footballer. But in the end, she was proud of me, and pretty a crazy story, basically. But yeah, that's it.
She wasn't keen on you being a footballer, and she ended up with 3 sons that become footballers in the end. Are you close to your brothers? Did you support each other?
Yeah, we're close. Yeah, we're close. Obviously, I'm the oldest, and it's kind of an age between me and my second one. So basically, it's like 5 years. So me growing up being a professional footballer, obviously, when I made my debut, my second brother was only 12. So obviously, you're gonna look up to your brother. You're gonna be like, wow, that's what I want. Fans screaming his name, and he's scoring goals against Ajax and Feyenoord. So I guess I kind of gave him that kind of a boost to do well as well. And from that moment, everybody kind of just like, I want to be Collins. I want to do what Collins is doing. So I think that kind of helped in their career as well, to be honest. So yeah, it's a great thing for 3 brothers to kind of made it in the professional world, because it's not an any day story, or it's very common. So for us to do that, it's kind of like a blessing, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So going on to Fulham, how did the move materialise? How did Fulham approach you?
A long story. I remember it was just before Christmas. Being 18-year-old, just had my birthday 2 months before that. Just turned 18. My agent came to the parking lot just after me finished training, and he was like, "Well, I just had a meeting with 20, and they're very happy with you. They want to give you a new deal, and is that what you want to do?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." They gave me the chance to play first team. They gave me the chance at the age of 11 to come to the football academy. So yeah, of course, I want to sign a new deal. No problem. I was at that time I had 9 goals in about 13 starts or something, and being an 18-year-old, that was a great achievement as well. So I was just like, yeah, let's do it. And then he was like, well, I have to tell you that because I'm your agent. I have to be honest with you. It's about 4 or 5 clubs interested in you. Maybe in January they want to come in and, put a bid in. So I was just like, obviously, I said, 18-year-old, you're just curious about the clubs. And he was like, Fulham and Man City and Marseille, Lyon, I guess. He said maybe PSV will come as well, but they're not sure because they have to sell Kessman first, and then if Kessman goes, you might be, the potential replacement. And I was just like, okay, that's cool, but, it's nothing concrete just now. Let me just get the deal done with 20. And he was like, okay, cool. So I remember early January, a few clubs was very serious. Like I think Marseille was very serious, and Lyon and Man City, they were very serious. They haven't put a bid in, but there were discussions with the club. And just out of the blue, Fulham just thought, you know what? He has free interest for another club. Let me just convince him to come over to London. So that's exactly where it went. Cookie at that time, Chris Coleman, called me up. Edwin van der Sar was at the football club, obviously. He called me up as being a Dutchman. So the conversation that I had with both of them was just so clicking, and, it felt so good. I thought, you know what? If anything is going to happen, I just want to go to Fulham. And obviously, Edwin van der Sar, be one of the oldest player at that time, being big goalkeeper in the world. He was just like, listen, when you come to London, I'm going to help you out. I'm going to make sure you're good, and I have a family here. So obviously, at that time I was single. You're going to be lonely, but don't worry about that. We're going to look after you. Obviously, I heard 20 were like so tempted to take the bid because the bid was apparently very good. So they sold me, and my first choice was obviously at that time was the Premier League, so I had to choose between Fulham and Man City. So for me, it was no brainer. So for me, it was all day long Fulham. So I chose for Fulham, and to be honest, looking back, yes, after Fulham, my career has not been very, very good. But in life, you always have to take positive. So, me playing for Fulham in the Premier League, enjoying all the goals I scored for the club, and you have to be very thankful to the organisation at that time to bring me at the football club. So, very exciting moment at that time, and I'm very glad I chose for Fulham in the end.
So you say Van der Sar was on the phone saying, reassuring you that he was going to look after you. So did he help you to settle into London then?
Oh, 100%. I remember, obviously, I just had my driving license a month before, or 2 months before, back in November 2003. And, me coming to London, driving different side of the road and the steering wheel, different side of the car was something for me. I was just like, what is this, He was, after training, I would go to his house. His wife would be cooking Dutch dinner. And obviously, me speaking Dutch, my English at that time was not great. So I had to really, somebody to talk to, speaking Dutch. And to be honest, Cookie was great to me as well at the time. He always said to me, when you're homesick, you miss your mum, we'll either give you an extra day off so you can go back home. Or, just make sure when your mum is here, let us know so we can invite her to the football club or, something like that. So he was always looking after me, and, that was a great bonus for me to have at that time, so it was very warming for me to be at the football club at the time.
Oh, nice. Well, I don't know if you're aware of it, but when you did sign for us in January 2004, you were the first permanent signing Fulham have made in a January transfer window. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so the January transfer window was created the season before. Before that, it didn't exist. And you was the first permanent signing Fulham made. They signed Bobby Petter on loan.
Yeah, for Celtic, yeah.
Yeah, for a couple of hours before your transfer was confirmed. But he was only on loan. So when you see all these signings in January now, just remember that you was the first one for Fulham.
That's nice, yeah, that's good to know, actually.
So we've covered you settling into London. Just quickly, I think it was halfway through your career at Fulham. I saw you once down the West End. I think it was down Oxford Street or somewhere. It was somewhere around there on a night out, and you was with Edgar Davids and Mario Melchiot.
Yeah.
Which was a bit random. Davids must have been playing for Tottenham at the time, so it was that sort of time. Was there a big Dutch union in London then at the time, and did you do that quite a lot, meet up?
Well, Edgar Davids, first of all, I met him through a personal physio of mine. He flew over to London a few times just to look after my body, and sometimes if I had a day off, I would fly to Holland just to make sure my body was right. So I met Edgar Davids through him, and then obviously, I was called up to the national team for Holland, and Edgar Davids was the captain at the time as well. So we kind of became friends and became, kind of tight. Obviously he was in London, I was in London, I was still a young kid, and Edgar Davids, everybody knows his career, obviously being at Barcelona and AC Milan and Inter, and Juve. So yeah, was like you said, was what we did a few times, and meet up, go for dinner, go out, and just make sure we kind of like in the same kind of how do you say that? The Dutch guys being together kind of thing. So yeah, it was not like every week, but Mario at that time, I think he was at Wigan. Obviously, he'd been at Chelsea, so he knows London very well. So he came down a few times as well. So yeah, if we had the chance to meet up, and we did it. So yeah, I think that night was one of those nights we just kind of like went out, three of us. So yeah.
Yeah, nice. We'll go on to you being introduced to the crowd now at Loftus Road, alongside John Collins. Now, I'm sure you've heard this quite a few times. Talk us through it. How was that explained to you at the time? Oh, you're going to go onto the pitch with John Collins, just so you know.
Well, I'm kind of a football maniac, so I follow everything, and I love to watch the news and the transfers and World Cup. So I kind of knew. Well, I didn't know him personally, but I knew who he was, So me coming up the Loftus Road, me seeing John Collins, and I was like, wow, this is so weird, Collins John and John Collins. So, and then for him to kind of like, play for Fulham as well, and, being in Fulham kind of like history as well was kind of a funny thing for me. So he actually gave me the shirt and the scarf, I remember. I think a scarf or a shirt, one of the two, I can't remember. But he was like, you have to go out the pitch and, say you're Collins John. And it was that banter around it was just so funny and confusing to people. But for me, it was not very confusing because I actually knew who he was beforehand. So, yeah, but it was a funny thing. It was a great moment for me. I remember I was so nervous walking up to the pitch, and I was so nervous. I was just like, wow, I'm going to be in the Premier League and for 4.5 years. And yeah, it's a dream. What's a dream? So it was great. It was a great feeling.
Well, I mean, it was a great way to introduce you to the crowd. Anyway, it was unique. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. It was unique.
Well, and then you make your debut against Chelsea, which is quite a game to come on for your first game.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, we lost that one, so we won't dwell on it for too long. But then you really hit the ground running. You scored 4 goals in your next 2 games, Leicester away and Blackburn at home. What are your memories of those games?
Well, Leicester felt like it was yesterday. I don't know. I just felt Leicester game, the preparation before the game, I don't know, maybe it sounds a bit scary what I'm going to tell you now, but certain games I just knew something's going to happen. It might be an assist, it might be a goal, it might be something. And the Leicester game, I just felt that it's going to be the time for me to score a goal. And, I think I came on only for 15, 20 minutes. But just the second half was so open. But obviously they're pushing up to score a goal, playing at home. And, it was a perfect game for me to come on as well. And I remember Cookie telling me, this is your time, you're going to score, you're going to score, you're going to score. So for me, obviously, to hit 2 goals in that game was wow. I remember me crying over the phone after the game, speaking to my mom, and such an emotional day for me. And especially because before the game, I was just like, this is the time. I just know it. I just feel it. And I remember Zesh Raymond is a good friend of mine. He didn't make the squad at the time, so he was home. And him told me, I just feel it. CJ, you did this your game. You're gonna score. So good luck. Make sure when you come in, you score. And obviously, seeing him at the training ground the next day, he came up to me and hugged me, and such a special few days. It was great. It was great to have that goal finally, and obviously, in front of the home fans as well was something unique. It was amazing.
Yeah, because it must have filled you with so much confidence, the Leicester performance.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, coming on and, don't get me wrong, I had a kind of a pressure because Louis Saha going to Manchester United. And I know, the gaffer told me, it's not going to be much pressure on you. You're young. We're going to give you time to adjust. But I just felt pressure for myself because I knew, you're a striker, even though you're 18 or 28, when you get the chances, you have to bear them in and score. So, for me to score that 2 goals and then obviously 2 days later play Blackburn at home, my first home game, it was something special. So to hit 2 again, that game was was a big thing at the time. It was a big thing.
I remember the Blackburn goals. They were very similar. I think one was a header and one was a volley, basically in the same point of the penalty box.
Your memories be spot on. But this why you got wrong.
Oh, my.
The header was very close range, exactly. It was a header from Jetu.
Yeah.
Johan Jetu. The ball came back and I just rebounded in with a head.
Was it right on the line then?
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
and
yeah,
the second one was a free kick from, I think, Sean Davis. He whipped it in and I kind of just before the penalty stip, I just kind of just put my foot around it and just kind of a tap in, but was kind of maybe about 11 yards, 12 yards out. It just kind of bombed the corner.
They were both down the same end, weren't they? There was there wasn't much between the goals. Was there?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, but I think we lost that game as well, isn't it? 4-3.
Well, I mean, the reason I remember that game so well is because Balmorte scored my favourite ever goal. He ran the whole length of the pitch, and you also bagged a brilliant assist that day. It was a lovely 1-2 on the halfway line.
Exactly. It was my assist. Yeah.
So it was an outstanding start to your Fulham career. I'm not sure about the celebration when you got on Balmorte's back though in the corner. Not sure what was going on there.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one as well, but I was so, in a different world, I guess. I was so happy, but disappointed to lose that game as well. So it's a mixed feeling, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, we might have lost, but it was still outstanding to score 4 goals in 2 or 3 days. Unbelievable.
That is, of course, unbelievable. Yeah, it was.
Well, I think that does for Loftus Road, because then it was time to go back home. And we go back to the Cottage. From your experiences playing at both grounds, was there much difference? Did you notice a big difference between Loftus Road and Craven Cottage as a player's point of view?
Well, I think both pitches are kind of tiny. Yeah, I don't think both fields are very big. They have the same kind of environment and buzz going on about them, but I prefer Craven Cottage all day long. It's still, Loftus Road was not really that feeling, it's your own stadium, really. So, Craven Cottage for me is still, a special place to score and to play. So, but yeah, they have similarities, both of them kind of like tidy and very, very, how do you say that? Very compact. But if I have to make a choice, it will be Craven Cottage for sure.
Well, 100%, it has to be Craven Cottage, and you certainly scored goals at the Cottage as well. But one goal that was ruled out in a very frustrating game was against Arsenal. I don't know if you remember it. Mark Halsey disallowed, or he changed his mind on a penalty, and then he also disallowed one of your goals that should have been allowed. Do you remember that game?
Yeah, of course I remember that game, because it was a clear goal, and he even came out after the game and said he made a mistake. So, that's football. But yeah, I remember that game very well, and, it was disappointing because it was a clear goal. Yes, my hand was a little bit on his shoulder, but, it was a clear goal. It was not a foul. No.
Going back to the penalty, how close was you to the action when the players were protesting? Did you get a rough idea of what was going on at the time?
No, not really. I think I was in around the box somewhere, but I didn't really see exactly what happened at the time. But looking back, obviously, on the replay after the game, I was just like, it doesn't make any sense, But again, disappointing for him to rule the penalty again, But we just have to forget that game very quickly, because it was just a bad game. Bad decisions, bad game, and in life you will get that kind of games, but you have to make sure you forget them, because otherwise you go crazy every day.
Absolutely. Well, we won't spend any more time on that then. Let's get over it, shall we? Let's put closure on it.
Exactly. I was just like, no, not this one, please, not this one. Because it was one thing I wanted to do in my life, score against Arsenal, and that referee just took everything and just, it was bad.
No, come on, Collins. Let's move on. Let's get over it. Well, You didn't score against Arsenal, but you certainly scored against Liverpool. 2006 at the Cottage, we said goodbye to our greatest player, Johnny Haynes.
Yeah.
Did you realise how big the occasion was at the time, and what was it like to score in a game like that?
Well, trust me, I was so buzzed before that game. I don't know, I was so angry. Not at anybody, but I was just, sometimes you're just angry, you just want to win, and you're just aggressive, and, you just want to make sure, that 3 points stay at the Cottage. And that was one of those games, before, holding each other for Johnny Haynes, and it was so emotional there again. It was so emotional. The Cottage was brilliant. Everybody was behind us. The fans were unreal that game. Unreal. I will never forget that game ever. It was just something going on at that game. Something was such a, I don't know, was very, everybody was at it. Everybody was at the same path. And for me to score at that game was unbelievable. For me, one of the best game in Cottage anyways, personally for me. So yeah, it was a big game.
Yeah, it was. It was a very special occasion. Well, I don't know if this was before or after. It might have actually been the same season, but despite only starting 15 games in the 2005-06 season, you finished top goal scorer with 11 Premier League goals. Now, at the time, only Louis Sahar and Andy Cole had done that, reached double figures. So, that's, again, in itself, outstanding. I think you're only one of 5 to reach double figures.
I remember
season.
that season. That was the best season I ever had in my career.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. Was that your favourite season?
Oh, that was my favourite season by far. Scoring at Liverpool, away, score against Manchester United. It was a special season. Me going into that season, I was not really confident because obviously, kind of like second choice basically. And certain games you would play because I would play 4-4-2 up front. So I was like, cool. But obviously, any sportsman wants to play week in, week out. And but not very happy going into that season. But was I happy after the season? I had such a great season, and everything just went well. Anything I've touched was turned into diamonds. So it was a great season for me.
What was your relationship like overall with Chris Coleman?
Well, has to be great, innit? Has to be great. He's the manager who brought me to the football club first and foremost. He was such a great father figure for me as well, and I think a lot of players will tell you that. He was like proper manager. I wouldn't say he was a coach. He was a proper manager. His management with the players was unbelievable. I've never had such a man who can just make sure you feel confident about yourself, make sure you feel you're top of the world, make sure you go into the game, even though your quality is not very good, but because your character and your mentality is going to win the games. Chris Coleman, for me personally, was the best at that. So, yeah, my relationship with him was very professionally. In the end of the day, he was the one who brought me to the football club. So I was thankful, I will be always thankful for him. Obviously, as a sportsman, again, yes, sometimes I was fed up because I was not the first choice, but that's normal. It was nothing against him. I would be fed up with any manager at the time, but it's just not because it's Chris Coleman or not. Yes, I wanted to play week in, week out. Yes, sometimes I was frustrated because I felt I did enough to actually gain that promise and that confidence. But in the end, for me personally, there's only one word I have for Chris Coleman. He helped me become a better football player, especially mentally and character-wise. Because coming from Holland, everything is technical and everything is nice, and if you lose a game, whatever, go on to the next one. And in the Premier League and under Chris Coleman, I've changed and work hard for the team, and even though you don't score, you have to, do the dirty work and run the channels and all that. So, in every manager, people say you always learn something, and definitely he taught me to be mentally stronger, and that was a great thing for me to learn as well.
What about the other managers you had at Fulham? Obviously, Laurie Sanchez. Did you have much to do with him or Roy Hodgson?
Roy Hodgson is another great manager. Yes, I was kind of out of favour at the time when Hodgson came in, but he was very honest. He was very good coach. Like, he was so precise, technical. He was unbelievable. Tactics, he was great, and he was very precise with certain little details. Like, he would know opposition, how they play, like exactly how they play. He can tell us exactly how to put the team about, and he was a special manager. Even though I was not very long with him, but obviously I was training with him as well, and he was always honest to me. He was always saying, "Listen, you had a big injury, so my team is kind of set. Yes, I know what you have done for the football club in the past, but right now, another guy's in front of you. So you have to wait for your chance." He was always honest, and I kind of respect that for him as well. So Laurie Sanchez, was a disappointing relationship with him because when he came in, I didn't get much playing time, and obviously went out on loan to Leicester and Watford under him as well. So yeah, what can I say? Yeah, it was mixed feelings with Laurie Sanchez basically, but again, nothing personal to him. Because in the end of the day, every manager has their own opinions and thoughts. So, like I said before, also every manager, you learn certain things. So so I guess that is a blessing.
Yeah, well, I don't think you'll be the only one to have them thoughts on Laurie Sanchez, if I'm being honest. Speaking from a fan's point of view. So we'll move on. Bit of a jokey sort of question for you now. The offside rule. Now, in my whole life supporting Fulham, I've never known someone to be offside as much as you were. Now, was it something that the man just told you to, take risks with your running, or was it just something that in the Premier League that the standard was just, it was difficult to judge it right? What was it?
I don't know. I think it's also a little bit of personality kind of thing. I'm very active and sometimes too excited. And yes, one of my strongest part in my game, I think I've scored a lot of goals that way as well, is my runs, and it's a hit or miss, Sometimes you have certain games you will be offside 7 times out of 7, and sometimes you'll be in. I think we played Man City one game away, and I scored 3 goals, and only one of the 3 goals was in, but the other 2 goals they said was offside. It wasn't. So, and we lost that game, I think 3-1. So, because I remember after the game, Steve King, the assistant manager, he took his tablet out and he showed me he's clearly not offside. So, yes, the stats will say that I was offside, but actually, in the real life, I might not be offside. So it's one of those things, I guess. And but that was definitely one thing I could have proved on. I'm gonna be honest, and but it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. But yeah, I have to agree with you. I think that was definitely one of the things in my spell I had to improve on at the time, because sometimes, I was pretty fast player, so sometimes you just hold your run a little bit longer and before you make the run. So sometimes I was just too excited and too, what's the right word? Too
enthusiastic.
Exactly, enthusiastic. Exactly. So yeah, but it is what it is, I guess, and we move on from that as well.
We'll move on, and one thing that you certainly don't need to work on is your volleying technique from tight angles, because Middlesbrough away, what a goal!
Yeah, definitely my best goal in Fulham career. Definitely my best goal, and you can ask any player, from Harry Kane to Messi. You can ask any player. The best goals you ever score in your career is goals you don't need to think about it, because when you think too much, it's not going to be a nice goal. This goal, when I scored against Middlesbrough, was just pure instinct. I remember getting the ball from Legwinski, and my mind was just like, just do what you have to do. So basically, don't think about it too much. Get the ball in your chest and just try it. And I just did it. And obviously, to go in like that is a bit of luck. But you need luck in your life. You need luck. Without luck, is no life. So definitely my best goal. Definitely my best goal. And, I was so surprised he went in, because I just thought, let me just try it and just give it a go. And, for the ball to go into that kind of tank angle top corner was a dream.
Was it better than Van Basten's goal?
No, I think Van Basten was even better, because it was even more tighter as well. It was tight down the line, so I have to give Marco Van Basten that kind of credit. But
apparently he thought about it really, really hard. So your one was better.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So your one was instinct, and your one was for Fulham. So
yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm guessing that's your favourite goal then.
100%, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt, 100%.
So.
Yeah.
What about your favourite match?
Well, sounds a bit weird, but has to be Charlton away. That volley I scored, because it was my birthday and my mum was in the stand, so 1-1. Danny Murphy and Collins John. Was a quick free kick from Klaus Jensen and Malbron. Malbron kind of like crushed it, but kind of back, and I just turned my waist, just volleyed in bottom corner.
Okay, so that's your favourite match?
Yeah, because my mum was kind of ill at the time as well. She was kind of ill, and I was just like, no, just calm in it, just calm. So, at my drive, I took my mum to the stadium, got all set up, and, she had a great seat, and it was my birthday as well. And, to score at that moment, and, it just felt like I was going to score on my birthday. And so obviously for my mum to be there was something special.
Was that the only time your mum saw you score a goal for Fulham?
No. I scored 2 against Sunderland at the cottage as well. She was there as well. But my opinion, I think I had a bad game at that game. Even though I scored 2, but my spell was not very great, so that will be never my favourite game. So yeah, Charlton had a good game, even though it was a 1-1, but I had a good game. And to be honest, I like the Valley. I like to play there. It's one of my favourite stadiums to play. It sounds a bit weird, but I just love that stadium. Got something about it, and for me to score there and to celebrate my birthday with my mum there was a great thing. I remember Steve King, the assistant manager at the time, he said to me, "You're gonna score today. I feel it." And for me to score and run up to him as well was a great thing.
Yeah, nice. Well, I mean, I think that pretty much covers your Fulham career. I guess the only thing left to ask is, was it a hard decision to leave in the end?
Well, I had no choice, really. Yes, I extended my contract a year before that. But like I said before, I was just out of favour, I guess. I had a big injury going up to Watford on loan. Tore my thigh there and, coming back from injury. And Roy Hodgson was very clear to me. He was just said, listen, I'm going to get a few another strikes in. So, you're not really going to be at my selection. So I had to make choices. And yeah, of course it was hard. I mean, Fulham was my first love, and the club gave me the opportunity to play in the Premier League. Was such a great league. So of course it was emotional times for me. But at that time, I was very confident that was the right choice, even though it was hard. Because in the end of the day, a sportsman wants to play week in, week out. And it was not different for me. So, I had to leave. And it is what it is, I guess. But again, I'm a Fulham supporter, always will be. Such a great club. And, so, yeah, it was a hard decision. But in the end, was the right one at that time.
Well, you played more games for Fulham than any other club in your career. So is Fulham your club then, looking back?
100%, no doubt. Even now, people will ask me, what's your favourite club? I would say, listen, it's kind of a hard decision in the end, because Twente is the club actually made me a professional footballer, who gave me the chance in the first place. But it can only be one name, and that's Fulham. That's 100%. Because me growing up, Premier League was my dream to play in. And for Fulham to give me that phone call and make sure my dream can come true and give me that opportunity to play in London, such a great city and such a great club as Fulham. Yeah, there can only be one favourite team, and that's Fulham, 100%.
Yeah, nice. Well, I mean, whilst you was at Fulham, you got to represent your country twice. What was it like to play for Holland? And are you a bit disappointed that you didn't get more caps than you did?
Yes and no, because I remember the first call up, Cookie and Steve King, they were cuddling me and almost kissing me. Because I remember I was at a training ground and the phone call came in from my agent saying, because I was surprised because the under 21 squad was named and I was not in it. And I was like, I called my agent, I was like, why I'm not even on the 21 squad? A 19-year-old player playing in the Premier League. Fair enough, not a starter, but surely, I'm always in the squad. I come on, so why I'm not even on the 21 list? And he was like, "Well, listen, don't worry. Let me call the gaffer from the 21 squad. I'm gonna ask him why you're not in, because that's ridiculous. You should be in." So I remember he called me out. He called me back an hour later, and he was like, "Well, I got better news for you. I know the reason why you're not in the 21, because you're in the full squad." I was just, "No way, you're joking." He was like, "No, you picked." And who picked me? Mark for Basten. Oh my God, I was just like, my day can't go wrong. So I ran into the canteen to tell Cookie and Steve King about it. I was like, "Gaffer, Steve, Kino, I'm in the squad." Like, they were like, "Well, yeah, only 21, no?" I said, "No, in the full squad." Wow. it looked like they were more happy to me. Like they were cuddling me, they were almost kissing me. I was just like, yeah, man, I made it. You know, obviously, it was just a mixed feeling, really, because be with them every day in the training ground, then make me better player and be in the Premier League, all because of football club, and obviously at that time the two gaffers, was also a reward for them, because in the end of the day, they are the one who give me the chance every Saturday to play, and for Basten to see me playing actually in the Premier League is also because of them. So we were just kind of like enjoy that moment, three of us at the time. And I remember Zat Knight gave me compliments, and obviously Edwin van der Sar, he was in the squad as well, and he said, I knew it because Mark van Basten called me a day before and asked me a lot of questions about you, how you are mentally wise, and are you ready for the challenge? And so I was like, so you kept all this day, you kept it quiet for me, yeah? So, so yeah, I had to, otherwise you wouldn't be surprised anymore. I was like, all right, fair enough. So I forgive you for that. But yeah, it was a great time for me. But yeah, in the end of the day, yes, of course you're disappointed, because as a sportsman, you always want to play for your country. And even though I'm from Liberia, but Holland is my home. I came here at a young age, and they gave me everything to stay in this country. And so yeah, for me, Holland was always a priority to play for. So yeah, it was disappointing, but at the end of the day, a lot of people, a lot of players, they wish they can play for the country, and they haven't. So you have to look at a positive way. I've played in 2 caps, even though I was selected more times, but I didn't come on. I think I was selected about 4 or 5 times, but I only came on twice. So yeah, I'm gonna look at it both ways. I'm gonna say yes, should be more, could be more, 100%. But I have to, and for me that's a big honor. So I can tell my kids, I played for the national team, even though it was 2 times, but it's still 2 times. So yeah, I'm gonna keep it positive way. I had 2 caps, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, well, you should be. You should be.
Yeah.
So who would you say were your closest friends at Fulham?
Zat Knight, 100%. Zat Knight will be my closest friend at Fulham. Edwin van der Sar, but yeah, the age gap was just too much. Even though I felt he's not really my friend. He's my father,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he was a big mentor for me at Fulham. Big mentor. He always kept me grounded and told me the right things. If I had a bad spell, if I had a bad training session, he would be like on my back and telling me you have to do better. And it's not a playground. Come on, you can do it. So he was always after me in a positive way. But personally, I think Zat was my tight friend at the Fulham days. We didn't live very far from each other as well. I lived in a village, and he lived there as well. So if I needed something in a city centre, I would call him, and he would help me, or take his car and take me to that place. Grocery shopping as well. He would help me, and so he was a great influence in my early days at the cottage. So I would say that night, and maybe not close friends, but he was a good friend of mine. Was Liam Senior, and one of the guys who didn't make that much appearance for the first team, but Darren Pratley. He still plays at Charlton, I think now.
Yeah, we
were very, very, very tight. Actually, that was Besides, he was not really in the first team. I would say he was one of my best friends, and we're even friends now. So, yeah, Darren is surely one of my favorite guys in London.
Oh, nice. And do you keep in touch with anyone, or just Darren Pratley?
Darren, Zach, Luis Boamote, Thomas Radzinski, Brian McBride, Carlos Bocanegra.
Oh, nice.
Edwin, I spoke to him a few months ago on a WhatsApp. So yeah, I still speak to a few guys, and not to forget Mark Monders, who started Fulham. I speak to him now and then. He helped me so massively. He picked me up from the airport. Actually, sorry, he picked me up from St Pancras train station, King's Cross, because I came with a train. he dropped me at the medical hospital. I remember that day as well. He took me everywhere, viewing the apartments and houses. So he took me to the bank to get my debit card first time. So Mark Maunders, he was also a very big influence in my Fulham career as well. So yeah, I keep in touch with many people. So it's a good thing to do. You know, just keep in touch with people who's been there for you in the past.
Absolutely, Mark Maunders does an outstanding job.
He's great. He's great. I love him.
Yeah, you're not the first person to say that.
He's unbelievable. Yeah.
What about your? Who was the best player that you played with at Fulham?
I know another player will be like, "Oh, CJ, how can you not choose me?" But sorry, it has to be Steve Malbronk. For me, the things he did in training was just unbelievable. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. He was untouchable. Some games he was untouchable, and obviously it can't be coincidence he went on to play after that for Tottenham because he was an outstanding player. I would say Steve Malbronk.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'm not surprised. He was outstanding. I was a Boa fan.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Boa. He was always the first to play for the badge. You know, he was always up for it for the fight. He was a worker. He was a great captain as well. He's such a great guy. His heart was always in the right place. He was great influence in the dressing room as well. But yeah, if I have to pick one, I would say Steve. But Boamor is surely not far off, 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah.
He was not far off. Even him, some games, he was untouchable with his pace and power. But yeah, I will say Steve. Just Steve, yeah. Just.
Who, out of interest, who are the players you think are going to be sitting there going, what about me?
Klaus Jensen. He was unbelievable. Me train every day with those guys, you know. I know fans will be like, oh, you know, he didn't play enough games. But me actually seeing him in the training pitch, seeing the things, what he did, you know, it can't be coincidence again to come out for your country that much as Klaus Jensen. He was unbelievable. Seriously. The things he would do, like, he was scary. But like you said, his injury didn't help him, but he was such a great player.
It's a shame it's a shame that he was always injured because, like you said, when he did play, he was outstanding. Just so frustrating.
Feet, his balance, his feet, his passing, was unbelievable. I mean, seriously, he was such a player, man. I can make any run in training. He will find me. He will find me anything. Like, it's crazy. His vision, and he was not the fastest, but you can't. He was weird. You can't beat him with pace. You can't beat him because he had this balance about him. He just knew how to use his body well. For me, he was great. He was a great player. He's great.
Yeah. All right. And Papa Bouba Diop wins the best dancer. You have to teach me the dance.
He was always dancing in the shower. He was always about to dance. He was always dancing in the shower. He was always, you know, CJ, come, let's do this when we score. Let's do that. Oh, he loved it. Great guy as well, by the way. Another great player. Yeah, Papa Bouba. Yeah, great guy.
I remember the goal celebration when he scored against Man United and the two of you by the cottage.
Yeah.
Doing a little dance.
I remember that run, what we took was about three miles. I mean, you just kept going. I was just like, where you going? Where you going? But, but that was funny. But, he was a great character.
Right, well, I've got a couple more questions for you. What are you up to now?
Enjoying time with my family, I guess. Enjoying time with my daughter, bringing my daughter to school every day, and train a local team not far from my house, on the 19s. It's an amateur club, but I just train them and play games on the Saturdays with them. So, just to do something I love, and that's football, obviously. So yeah, I'm just kind of enjoying it. I go and spend a lot of time in Portugal to see my brother play. So,
are you back in Holland then?
Yes. I live like 10 minutes outside Amsterdam, so it's a small city, just outside, quiet and nice, a lot of green, and so I'm just doing daddy stuff and and being a great father for my daughter, and And like I said, I spend a lot of times watching games, and I go to my old club 20. I also do something with them as well to inspire kids to become a professional footballer. And so every 6-7 weeks I go there and have a speech. And, most of the times, like guys from 15, 16-year-old, and I just tell them, how to become a professional footballer. Obviously, you have to have luck, but it's all about your mental strength and your mentality. And, so I just, again, I do what I love, being in football, and then just enjoy life, really.
Yeah, nice. Well, good luck with it all.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure to speak to you, mate.
Thank you.
We always end our Q&As by asking pie or pasty. Which would you rather eat? Did you get to taste those when you was in England?
Trust me, I've ate everything.
What would you prefer, pie or pasty?
Pasty.
Yeah? Sounds good.
Yeah,
all right, mate.
pasty,
Well,
sure.
It's been an honour to speak to you. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling me, and let's keep in touch. And thank you for thinking of me, and finally we get on the phone together.
Absolutely, no, it's really enjoyed it. It's great reliving my teenage years following Fulham, and thank you for everything you did for us.
No problem. Thank you as well.
Yeah, keep in touch.
Cheers. Okay,
Thank
mate.
you.
Cheers. Top
Take
man.
care.
All
Bye.
right. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Collins John there, talking about his time at Fulham. I'd like to thank Collins for taking the time to speak to me, and I wish him all the best with his future. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter for updates when the latest Q&As will be released. There's loads more to come, and you can also subscribe via iTunes or any other podcast app. But until the next one, my name's Dannyboi. Really hope you enjoyed this one, and thank you very much for listening.
Fulham.